Congratulations on the book. You're putting together some big thoughts, right? How do you simplify it for the reader?
Well, digital transformation is kind of on the forefront of agendas of boards and CEOs. And what it seems to be about is that we're going through a mass extinction event in the corporate world. In fact, 52% of the Fortune 500 companies have disappeared in the last 18 years. Toys R Us, Westinghouse, Kodak, I mean, they're gone. And, GE is off the list now. And in their place, we have companies that you talk about every day with new DNA that are all about cloud computing, AI, and IoT. Like Amazon going after retail, and we have, 8,000 retail outlets closed in the United States last year? Or Airbnb, no buildings, no facilities, and they're, dominating the hospitality industry with a market cap greater than, I think, the sum of all hospitality companies in the world. Mm-hmm. Again, it's all about AI, IoT, cloud computing. Tesla, AI, IoT, and cloud computing on wheels, disrupting the automotive industry. So we have a new generation of technology, and I think the CEOs of leading companies like CAT and 3M, and Boeing and Royal Dutch Shell are adopting this technology so that they can survive and thrive in the new economy.
You just mentioned a number of industrial heavyweights there, and certainly I've seen this and been following the fact that industrial Internet of Things and just the industrial sector in general, many of these companies are essentially becoming the other tech companies. I'd actually also argue that Honeywell probably belongs in that bucket too. So when you look across corporate America, who is adopting this technology and maybe getting it right, and who isn't?
Morgan Chase, certainly Bank of America in financial services, in healthcare and manufacturing, 3M, Caterpillar, Shell. Baker Hughes is huge in digitization of oil and gas worldwide.
You just mentioned JP Morgan. What about Goldman Sachs? David Solomon, has said that Marcus isn't valued like a tech company, but maybe it should be. Are they getting it right also?
Well, I've not talked with David about this, but you can never count Goldman out. These are very smart guys, and they understand technology. I'd be amazed if they're not at the leading edge of this trend.
Another company I wanted to ask you about, sort of a gray chip, which is IBM. They've been trying to complete this transformation for many, many years. First, it was AI and Watson. Now they're kind of shifting to the hybrid cloud. Not kind of, they are shifting to hybrid cloud, putting the focus. Are they doing it right? Are they going to be able to complete this transformation?
Candidly, I think there's reason to be concerned about IBM. IBM is, I think, a great national treasure, and they missed the cloud. I'm not sure how you missed the cloud, but they missed it, and they seem to have missed AI, advertising aside, where they did a lot of good advertising around Watson, but there doesn't seem to be much there. So I think there's reason to be concerned about IBM, and I'm hopeful that they figure it out, because if IBM were to disappear from the planet, it would be a sad day.
But they just made that huge acquisition of Red Hat. Is that too little, too late?
Well, it's certainly a lot of money right now, and whether that tends to be the salvation for IBM, I think, is left to speculation.
You mentioned GE, which for a number of years under Immelt talked about the industrial internet, right? Being able to read metrics from a machine through digital means. How do we know whether companies are doing this for real or just marketing around it?
GE, I believe, spent $7 billion on this GE digital effort. And they have, I think, not one production customer in the world. So it was something of a disaster. This idea that, large industrial corporations can develop these technologies themselves doesn't seem to be working out.
The fact that we are seeing this mass adoption of technology, this sort of reordering of the corporate world in the midst of all this technology, when you're talking about something like AI or facial recognition, for example, was in the news again this weekend, some of these new technologies, are there enough rules of the road in place, or is Pandora's box being opened in terms of unintended consequences?
Absolutely, there are not enough rules in place, particularly as it relates to facial recognition. I mean, this is a technology that's easily tricked, easily gamed, so I think that's a very scary technology that we need to keep our eye on. I think the rules as it relates to privacy and security and social media, what's going on there is truly scary. And governments need to regulate before we have enormous problems.
Given the convergence of all the issues you're talking about, IoT, AI, do you think it would have been more fun to start Siebel now rather than when you did?
No, Siebel was the professional experience of a lifetime. And,
it worked out. It worked out for you.
It was great. I mean, it was a professional experience of a lifetime. We built one of the world's great companies. And but C3, I would say, is even the greater professional experience of a lifetime. We have an entirely new generation of technology to take advantage of for great social and economic benefit. The problems we're dealing with are extraordinarily difficult, and it is truly fun.
Quickly, how does this play out between the U.S. and China, given the fact that technology is a key part of these talks?
I think we're at war with China as it relates to AI. It is full game-on warfare. I think that this is not a war that we want to lose. Vladimir Putin said, whoever wins the battle on AI dominates the world. I think the Chinese are taking a traditional, authoritarian, top-down, totalitarian approach to it. The United States is a very messy free market with people doing things in garages. We'll see which system works. Let's hope we don't lose.